Hello, I'm Kimberly Henry, and this is Living the Good Life. In this series, we'll feature conversations around ways to embrace the goodness of life and take a big, juicy bite out of it. Food for the soul and the funny bone. Learn to give more time to yourself, become a better friend, lead an amazing life, and how to tell the best joke at the party. Living the good life can mean different things to different people. Whatever it is for you, I hope you'll find some inspiration here to live your most joyful, authentic life. Now, on to today's conversation. Our guest today is an opera singer and former actual rocket scientist. AnnaCley has been striving all her life for excellence, meaningful endeavors, and growth. Taking advantage of her career and stage experience, she takes a stand to empower others, sharing the art of charisma and the use of breathing and voice to build momentum. After some time volunteering in hospitals for children, Anna founded the nonprofit VOCALISE to instill hope, courage, strength, and self-respect into children impacted by trauma. Anna imagined and wrote the philosophical tale, The Journey of the Heart, currently in development through VOCALISE. Anna's artistic evolution into contemporary collaborations allows her to co-create new works, merging opposite universes to give birth to the world of tomorrow. Her unique voice and artistry arouse the greatest emotions and praise in the most unexpected environments. By combining the use of vocal harmonics and drama with other art forms, Anna challenges the boundaries of genres. AnnaCley has several recordings, art and aesthetics, and the other two I'm going to have her tell us because I'm not sure I can pronounce them. Anna has also a certification in hypnosis and a member of the Association of Transformational Leaders. Please welcome our guest today to speak on the art of charisma and being a charismatic leader, AnnaCley.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, for this introduction. I'm very happy to be with you all today.
We're happy to have you. How are things going in New York?
Things are slow and quiet, as one can imagine. I think New Yorkers take it really seriously and are very careful with others, very careful.
It's a changing environment that we're in. So I think that the topic today is really important as we begin to reinvent how we move through the world right now. Are you seeing that as well?
I'm seeing that as well. I think we're going through a time of necessary transformation. We do have no choice right now but to transform. I think or we stay the same and it's going to be catastrophic, or we embrace the change, reinvent ourselves, and then we have an actual chance to thrive in this world. The world is ever changing. That's something we do know, but it's a rare time in history where we are actually all forced to change together. And I think we can take it as an opportunity actually to make a positive impact into the world.
Well said. And you're no stranger, obviously, to transformation, going from opera singer to rocket scientist. How does one make that leap?
Well, actually, I studied singing at a very young age, and I won my first award at 14 years old, which was very, very young. I just didn't have the opportunity and the support from my family to pursue that career. And as a young child, I was passionate about the meaning of life, about the universe, and astrophysics was a very strong interest for me. So I chose to specialize in aerospace, hoping that I could reconnect the dots. And I'm passionate about the meaning of life, about expansion, about growth. And that's actually what ties it all together. I know for many people it's a surprising shift, but it's actually not, because in the aerospace industry, I didn't find the spirituality, but that was my hope. And astrophysics, you find, you research the meaning of life and how you go back to the stars and the universe and why you are here, etc. So with music, you can also travel to other universe, and there is this aspect of trance, of expansion that you can find through art, and that's where everything reconnects. And I'm also passionate about hypnosis, which also gives this opportunity to reach other realms and to, transform in some ways to something greater, to find an elevated state of consciousness.
That's something that had never occurred to me, that being in astrophysics or being in aerospace, that you would make that leap. But when you explain it, it makes so much sense.
Thank you so much. Well, actually, spirituality has been the biggest interest in my life. I love this quest, actually, this quest of self, this quest of connection, the oneness, I love to feel we are all connected, that we are one, that everything, that the puzzle comes together. And there are a lot of questions, there will always be, but as you go through life, as you wander on this quest, you do find answers and you do find joy. And so it's a never-ending process. That's why.
So how did you find yourself becoming an author, particularly on the subject of charisma?
Well, so it's very obvious I have an atypical career, and a few years ago I was coaching emerging opera singers for French. So it was a French opera production here in the US, and I was supposed to help them with language and how to make it work so we understand what they say. And there was this singer, a young man, 27 years old. When he arrived, when I heard him first, I thought everything was terrible. Everything was so bad. The singing was bad. The acting was bad. The French was terrible. But I saw a great potential. And basically I said, okay, so here are the people I want to work with in priority. And of course, he was one of them. And I will always remember him coming, to work with me. Like, he was really not motivated, you could see, but he came. And after 5 minutes of work together, and it was supposed to be just on French, completely different person, and he didn't want to leave. And we worked 4 times for like 40 minutes in 2 weeks, and he became a completely different person. And his singing was so much better. His acting was great. The French was much better. Like, something was unlocked. And that's where I realized that if you work on a few things in the body, everything I knew as a being, from opera singing and from hypnosis, everything I knew, actually, it could serve people for, like any type of people, to gain confidence in themselves. It changed the way he moved. It changed the way he spoke with others very quickly. So that's where I realized there's a shift to do for me in my career, and I have to help people with that, because you can change your self-confidence just by changing the way you use your body, your posture, just by opening your chest, just by changing how you breathe, breathing deeply, breathing deeper, how you place your voice, using chest voice, more resonating, lowering the larynx. So I'm already a bit technical right now, but actually those are very simple tips, and it can change someone. And yeah, and I really
I can hear your passion. I can hear your passion around this. You just lit up. It's obviously something that you care very deeply about and get a lot of satisfaction from helping people with.
Yeah.
Can you tell us maybe a little bit more? Let's break it down. What exactly is charisma? I think we all kind of know it when we see it, but what is it?
I think charisma is a positive and strong presence, and it's inspiring. It's someone who's charismatic. When they enter in the room, you see them right away. There's something about them, and the postures have a big role, and the attitude is a positive attitude. It's someone who is open to others. It's someone who is inspiring. You want to learn about them. You want to follow them. You want to get their name, know what they do, and that's what charisma does. And on another, using other words, we could talk about aura. Like, you could compare that to aura. Oh, this person has a great aura. Well, I don't see that. We just feel the energy. Like
Mm-hmm.
again, because we are all connected to one another, we're gonna feel if someone is negative, has a low energy, or is depressed. We feel those things. We have this ability, and we also feel when someone has something great to give to others, someone who wants to inspire and have something to say. Yeah.
That's a question I have is there are some people who have that charisma, that attraction that just makes you kind of gravitate toward them. Sometimes those people aren't what they seem to be. So is there a difference between authentic charisma, that positive energy you're talking about, and someone who's using that charm maybe not in as authentic or pure way?
That is a really, really good question, actually. So you can learn the art of charisma, which is something, I'm talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use some techniques or that can be used if you're a good person, because okay,
Use it for good, not for evil.
okay, I'm not not that I want to put people in boxes. But
if you're evil, stop listening.
Exactly. I know it's funny because when I do those workshops, I give some techniques and I'm a bit afraid they could be used the wrong way. I would say, okay, so you use that only if you have good intentions. You have to be benevolent, But yeah, I mean, if you have good intention, and that we cannot control, but if you have good intention, those techniques are going to help you make a positive impact, a bigger impact, convince people for the right thing. If you do have not so good intention, it's like acting, it's an actor can play evil and good. They can cry or laugh, and what's real at the end of the day? In this moment, it's real. In this moment, the person is really crying. But are they sad in general? No. It's what's so fascinating about human beings is we are very complex beings. So one thing that I didn't think I would talk about today, but I'm going to go there. It's intuition, and intuition is actually a big part of charisma, of a real charisma. It's a big part of really good listening, and it's a big part of self-protection, etc., or great communication. It's a big part of peak performance, something that I do, of course, as an artist. This intuition, this feeling of following what we feel in our guts or following our hearts, that's really important. And that's where I reconnect with spirituality I mentioned before. Because spirituality is absolutely not about religion. It's about the quest. It's about understanding. And so intuition, this ability to feel someone else, is something to work on, that we can learn to develop. We can learn that by releasing some of our barriers, all the veils we can wear, etc., and then be more attentive, be more open, and then we hear internally better. So someone can look like a charismatic leader, but if you have a good intuition right away, you will know this is not authentic. So it's about this energy again, this connection with others.
So why is it important? Other than, I think we've all met someone who's maybe more of a wallflower or have been themselves. I've certainly had my experiences of kind of hanging back, coming into a new situation or into a new crowd. Why is it important to develop this art of charisma? How can it be helpful in the day-to-day life or through this transitional period?
So first and foremost, the immediate effect is building your self-confidence. The tools you're going to use to develop your charismatic leadership, if I may say, these tools are the same. You can use to self-empower yourself through changing your posture, using some exercises to develop your performance state. Even meditation could be one of them. or self-hypnosis. So all of these tools are going to help you with self-confidence. They're also going to help you with healing past trauma. They're going to help you be more open to opportunities, not just to people, also to more opportunities. Because if you feel better, if you have a better confidence in yourself, a better confidence in life, if you feel happy, everything changes. It's like, on a gray day, is it a gray day because you didn't feel good at first and then the environment changes around you, or are you feeling sad because it's gray? Well, your own emotion, your own state of mind is going to have a lot of impact on your surroundings. So that's the immediate thing. And that's why it's important for anyone right now, because when you feel grounded and feel good with yourself, when you open your chest, open your heart, then you're able to transform, to adapt more easily. You're not coming from a place of fear, you're coming from a place of confidence and open mind. The other aspects of why it's important is because obviously right away you're going to make other people feel good. If you feel like because we are all connected, okay, I can go there with spiritual understanding. When you have a good energy, you add good energy to the world, and the world feels better just because you feel better. But it's also very simple. When you walk in the street and you smile to someone, you change their day, like right away, because maybe it's the first smile they have. Maybe they are thinking of their worry. Just by saying hi, you can have so much impact, because right away it cuts their negativity if they have any, or it makes them happier if they were neutral. And if they were already happy, well, it's even better. And then what's the consequence of that? It's not only on them, it's also on everybody they're going to meet that day. It's like, let's say you meet someone at 10 a.m. in the street and you say hi with a smile. That's already, if they were stressed, and then let's say 1 hour later, they go in a store and someone is negative with them. If they feel good, they're going to take it really easily, and maybe they're even going to be able to soothe or reassure this person that's stressed and communicate the positivity. On the other hand, if they come from a negative and neutral place, maybe they're going to take it personally, and then it's going to add to the negativity. So that's immediate impact. In business, obviously, you're going to be able to grow your network. People will want to keep working with you, or they will talk about you if they don't need to work with you. It just helps you building your network, having good communication, and you are your own brand, no matter what. No matter what type of work you're doing, you are your own brand. So that's why it's so important.
Yeah, you take you with you wherever you go, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You are the one. And I love the advice I've heard over the years. Be the person who changes the energy in the room versus being changed by the energy in the room.
Yeah.
So then you can have that positive effect rather
Absolutely.
than taking on everyone else's baggage, because that's a lot of baggage and that's hard to carry.
Well, actually, you're touching a really good point, and I'm going to address it, because if we talk about true charisma, it means obviously you care for others. It means obviously you are sensitive and you already have some intuition. Maybe you're already very intuitive, and the downside of that is we are like sponges. We take a lot from others, and people, they're going to complain easily. Like if you're this type of person, with good intention, and you need to set up boundaries, but if you build your own like charisma, your own leadership, if you build that, then it's almost like it protects you, because then you shine and you keep shining, and it cannot get in so easily,
There's so many empathetic people. I can be one myself, that you feel like caring for other people means taking on their stuff, and that's not always the most helpful thing for them or for you. And it sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, developing this art of charisma or a charismatic leadership style, you can kind of put that buffer in there, that boundary that allows you to be the compassionate or empathetic one without letting it tear you down.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It does that. And then we cannot take other people's worry. At the end of the day, everyone is responsible for their own life.
Mm-hmm.
And with all that said, a charismatic leader is not going to do the work for you, is going to inspire you to go further, to make your dreams come true, is going to inspire you and make you believe that you can, that
Mm-hmm.
give you this courage, but
Mm-hmm.
not doing it for you. So that's, I mean, we often hear that a great manager or a great leader is just someone who knows how to delegate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, in
I need more practice in that area.
so, yeah, so somehow
You got to
it's
have people to delegate too, right?
exactly. So somehow that's what
Right.
it is. Yeah.
When you think of examples of charismatic leaders, can you point some people out that we might know of? I mean, one that came to my mind right away as I was asking the question is like a Ronald Reagan. Are there folks that you can think of?
Well, obviously Oprah. Obviously.
Oprah, sure.
Yeah. Marie Forleo, she's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins,
Yes, yes.
all of these people, but they can be also musicians, like Sting, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
It's someone people want to follow, and he created with his wife a non-profit, Rainforest. Or, I mean, it can be authors, it can be any type of job really, as long as they put good energy into the world and people want to follow them and then get inspiration from. Like someone who can succeed in his career, meaning make a change, make things happen, create something new, and at the same time they create something for others. Like it can be a charity, and sometimes it doesn't even have to, because just their work in itself inspires others. Those are charismatic leaders. It's not necessarily the CEO of the company, though it can be. I've been thinking of Richard Branson, for instance, with
Sure.
Virgin Companies.
Mm-hmm.
It's meaningful. He wants to make things affordable for others. I mean, there's some research also. There's everything. And so all of these people are charismatic leaders also because they really want to make a change in the world, and they inspire us to do the same. So if we come from a place of, let's say, poor family, or there were problems at home, all of these difficulties, challenges, trauma that one has to overcome, when we see that others did overcome the same things or similar challenges, then it's very inspiring. And actually, if you look at it, the people who are the most inspiring are those who achieved and also share their vulnerability, which is very difficult to do. But if you
It
just
is.
see the success of someone, it's actually not so inspiring. But if you see them and they're human, they share their weaknesses, the challenges they had to face, then we connect.
Do you think there's a skill to that? Because it could go off the rails if you are a person who is trying to be vulnerable, but maybe you take it too far. How do you balance being vulnerable but also being confident and a leader without diving into that place of self-pity or victimhood?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. It's a really great question also. We live in a world of TV, reality shows, and selfies, and Instagram, and all of that. And we see so many people just saying, "Oh, I have this disease and this gender and this and that," and it doesn't make anything because they don't have a story to tell us. They present themselves as victims, and that is not inspiring.
Right.
And on the other side, it's the journey, it's sharing the journey that's inspiring. It's where you are, where you come from. And with what you do today, with who you are now, and with the conditions you have now, what do you want to do now? That's
Mm-hmm.
the journey that's inspiring to others. And you write about something, being vulnerable and sharing one story. It's a struggle. I'm actually very admiring of those who do it because you put yourself in the public eye, and most of the times it's not just you that you put in your public eye, it's also your family, and you attract attention from things you wanted to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it takes time. It actually takes a lot of strength to get there, a lot of courage.
I think that is becoming more and more critical as we move into the future. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, it was all about putting whatever face on you wanted to portray to the world, and you could be whoever you want to be. And now it's more of an unmasking, where people want to see under the hood or behind the mask. They want to see your authenticity, your vulnerability. For those of us who are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, it's really learning a new way of being in this world, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's very interesting. And now that you talk about it, I think a big part of it is how we use phones and computers and how we disconnected. The technology disconnected people, but people need it. We are social animals. We crave for connection. And those stories, this vulnerability, reconnect us to each other as human beings, as
Mm-hmm.
spiritual beings. And it's interesting to see that people are afraid to talk to each other in the streets or in a coffee shop, in a bar. People avoid eye contact a lot in New York City, for instance. Before the COVID, it was already like that. It became a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
So they are looking for this type of connection in other ways.
And they just don't want to play games anymore. It's
Yes,
we want it to be real. That's
that's right.
so profound and true. Okay, so I want to be Oprah and Tony Robbins combined. Anna, how do I get from here to there?
Oh la la. I mean, where do you come
Kimchi.
from? Where are you?
Somewhere in the
Uh,
middle.
oh yeah, yeah. The first thing is to cut the negative inner voices, like
Mm,
all the little voices that say, "Oh, you're not good enough.
mm,
It's never gonna happen. It's too hard." All of this has to be cut. We don't want that. We want at least neutral and at the best positive. Like Marie Forleo, for instance, she has this book that just came out 1 year ago. It's Everything is Figure Outable. It's true.
mm.
Everything is figure outable.
Yeah.
Everything is possible. Our beliefs change everything because we put limitations on ourselves.
Mm,
Another great person I think of is Joe Dispenza.
mm-hmm,
Been doing a lot of work on the mindset actually,
mm-hmm.
and the reason why I was absolutely I'm actually passionate about hypnosis is you can reset your mind, you can change things. So that's the number one thing. And Tony Robbins, Marie Forleo, I don't know about Oprah, but I think they all changed a lot of things in their mindset. They did a huge work on healing themselves, but not necessarily healing through long therapy. No, it's just resetting. It's like just like this young singer I was mentioning before.
Mm-hmm.
He just
Mm-hmm.
needed someone to tell him, when you do that, people think that, or do differently. And so you need help, I think, or you need to seek help from someone who's going to be able to tell you, don't do that, or this would be better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, have this feedback. One thing, like, of course, self-video taping can help see some things, but it's not going to help you understand what happens when you are in real life. So, I mean, yeah,
So
mindset is number
masterminds,
one.
even like mastermind groups or peer groups or networking groups, you can begin to get that kind of feedback.
You could,
You
yeah,
can.
with a coach, you can.
Hmm.
Sometimes, feedbacks come directly from family, from
Right.
friends.
I'm not sure.
If they do have the courage, you know,
That's not always
some,
helpful feedback.
no, sometimes it's a little hard to take in, but over
Yeah.
time, you understand what was wrong,
That's right.
where it was coming from.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, well, and then, I don't know if you want to go there now, but obviously the way you present yourself to
Hmm.
someone is going to change everything. If you go with a confidence and with something to offer, with gratitude, like be a giver, not a taker. There's also something like that, and that's something you can almost see in the posture, where you can see part of it. This cycle of giving and receiving. It's
Hmm.
like breathing. We breathe, we give and take. We inhale, we exhale. We are connected to each other through breathing because we breathe the same air, and
Hmm.
this COVID situation is actually it's actually so interesting. It's traumatizing for a lot of people and for all of us to trying to make it through. But it's very interesting because what do we understand with this COVID that was there before, but most people couldn't see it, is, well, yes, indeed, we are connected to one another. And yes, indeed, the air that you breathe, your neighbor is breathing it,
Hmm.
meaning that we cannot escape that, this cycle of giving and receiving. And right now, people have the attitude of closing themselves. We mask ourselves. Okay, so how do we get to exist right now being masked and being afraid? No, we need to keep shining. We need to accept this connection
Hmm.
rather than closing it and try to find new ways to stay connected. We cannot avoid that we are all here on this planet all together.
Right.
So
This has been one of the largest social experiments I think I've ever
mhm,
witnessed. So many people participating in this, everyone. I don't know that anybody's been immune to having to deal with the ramifications in one way or another of this virus. It's
yes.
been interesting to see how people respond for sure, and all of the ways that we relate to each other differently
Mhm.
because of it.
Yeah, no, it's
You
very
were
interesting.
talking about the physicality a little bit, and I would love to talk a little bit more deeply on that. I know that when you're not feeling confident, you begin to kind of close in on yourself.
Mhm.
So, do you find that some sort of an exercise to open your body posture up is
Mhm.
helpful?
Absolutely. I will actually, when you watch a baby breathing,
Mm.
it's very natural. It's very open. And when they cry, they can cry and cry and cry for hours. They never hurt their vocal cords.
And they don't
Never.
care who's listening
They,
either.
they don't care. Exactly. And as we grow in a society, in a family, etc., we have to fit in a frame. And our body changes because of that. We close, the shoulder gets tense, we slouch, and we lose space in our own body, we lose space in our own lungs, and then we get this very tight, high breathing that's just the very top of the chest, and the back is locked and the lower ribs are locked because we are afraid of what people are going to think of us. So
Mm.
we try to protect ourselves in all the way we can. It's not conscious, obviously. And we reproduce what other people do. This is also what we see every day. And so these breathing that babies have, they really breathe with the belly, you would say. But actually, it's a lot deeper than that because when you look at the rib cage is attached to the spine. And if you actually really want to breathe, you have to open your rib cage. It's as if the ribs were attached to the spine, like a book, like the pages of the book.
Mhm.
And as you inhale, the ribs should open just like the pages of the book. So it should open in the back. And then, therefore, it's going to open in the front, in the belly. And then allow this space for the lungs take all the oxygen they need. So what happens is that as we grow up, as we are stressed, etc., the body locks. And most times when you see all of these relaxation courses and classes, they tell you, oh, breathe with your belly. Okay, I want to go there because breathe with your belly is a way to open up the diaphragmatic breathing. So the diaphragm is this flat muscle that's under the lungs, and when we're stressed, it gets really tense. Problem is we cannot control this muscle. It's one of the muscles in the body that's automatic, but we can control all the muscles around. We can control the ribs. We can control everything else. So what you're going to do when you breathe with your belly, you're going to force the diaphragm to go down. It's going to automatically go down. Where it's not enough is that breathing with the belly is just in the front, and you don't do anything to open your back and so allow more space. Versus if you start really breathing with your lower back, sensing the space, then you allow a lot more space everywhere. So now regarding the posture, because everything is connected, I feel you really need to start by relaxing the lower part of the belly, of the body, the lower part of the back. Have this openness, and then the rest of the body can start to relax. Now, the shoulders are a big thing because we accumulate a lot of tension. And most people, when you tell them, okay, take a big breath, they're going to get their shoulders up. And what it does, well, nothing, because the rib cage is not attached to the shoulders at all. So what we want is to keep the shoulders down and open the chest. Open the chest, open the back, the upper back to all of this. And as we do that, of course, we elongate. We always see the dancers are a great example. It's like the head is hang by the top of the head, and we have to keep this alignment all along the spine. Of course, that's the best. And keep an open chest not only allows your body to get a better breath, but it also allows you to receive better, not just oxygen. It allows you to receive energy, because if you see someone who has an open body, an open attitude, you're already more likely to speak to them, and they already give you a better sense of confidence. You more likely to feel reassured by their presence. They're open. So that's where I was going with the give and take, giving and receiving and all of that. And to me, the danger that we see with COVID, well, there are a lot of things happening that is not my expertise and not my place to talk about today. But one thing I can talk about is that people are afraid to breathe the air, and they close their body. And doing so, it closes more and more, and then it cuts also the communication. It has a direct impact on self-confidence. It has a direct impact on stress, because they stress their body doing so. And it's very important to keep this open posture, this open attitude to stay healthy, because the more you stress, the more chances you have to get sick also. So that's why, you build your own health and your own immune system by using your body the right way and getting this communication with others. I mean, there are so many factors here that everything's interconnected. Everything's intertwined.
Yes, and that's it. Kind of brings us back to the beginning of our conversation. We were talking about being a rocket scientist and being an opera singer and how that was connected. But as you talk and as you explain the physicality of this, I'm thinking to my yoga practice. It's very similar in how we want to be open and strong, and but also not stressed and balanced. And when you think of a charismatic leader, you don't think of it maybe literally, but if you had to describe someone like an Oprah or Tony Robbins, they're healthy, they're strong, they're confident, they're open, they're all of these things that really, as you say, are intertwined. They're all connected.
Yeah, there is a direct connection between the body, the mind, and our spirituality, our belief system,
Mm-hmm.
and our journey. So that's what I'm passionate about, is how everything is connected. That's where, yeah, it's amazing. I think
It,
it's amazing.
it is. It's fascinating. What a great discussion. This is not exactly where I thought this was going to go. So I love
Me
these
neither.
journeys. I love these journeys. So you have a free ebook that you're offering on your website at AnnaCley.com called The Art of Charisma. So what would one expect to find in that book?
So in this, it's a very short ebook, but I wanted to give everyone an idea of how you can improve your communication very easily, like right away. And so you'll find 10 communication secrets or 10 communication tips in this ebook. It's a very quick read, and I think it gives you already a lot of materials to think about and things you can change right now. So it's, you have, of course, posture and the attitude and the pacing, like the way we interact with others and the vocabulary you use. So it's a short read, and should be very helpful.
Wonderful. And then you had mentioned to me earlier, before we got started, your e-course, which, if I understand correctly, is a 4-week course, Breathe
Mm-hmm.
Happy, the Voice
Yeah.
of Success. So
So
you want
yeah.
to share a little on that?
Yeah, sure. So Breathe Happy, this e-course I created because I wanted to make accessible to anyone those exercises that help you get empowered. So those exercises encompass breathing techniques like the same one you use as an opera singer to build your own instrument, how you can change your voice, etc. So I give you the best of the best from my 24 years of opera experience and everything that changed me, because I was quickly sharing with you earlier, Kimberly, that I was a very introvert person before. I was very introvert as a child, as a teenager. I come from a place where my environment was trying to put me down, and it changed my perspective. I was not speaking much. I mean, singing was my life savior, really. And through this journey of opera singing, what's interesting is that, well, I did it just because I felt singing was natural to me. And then I realized it makes people feel something, they would cry or be happy, etc. But like more than 20 years later, I can tell you it helped me. It was my own, I mean, it helped me heal. It helped me become who I am. It helped me become the striking presence I am. I mean, how many times did I hear in the past few years, you're striking, like right away when you entered? And I mean, before I would sing, but now I don't even need to sing or say something that it became so part of me. But I come from a totally different place where I was always trying to hide myself, where I didn't know what to say. So I wanted to make that available for everyone, because not everyone can afford to have private coaching,
Mm.
obviously, or to have a workshop. And at least you have the same tools. That's what I wanted here.
So will I be able to sing opera when I'm done?
No, because it's
No.
not the goal. The goal is not it's not for singers. It is not for singers. It's actually for it can be for anyone, for entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
etc. But no, it's not for. So, but maybe you will want to. Maybe you will discover a new color in your voice and your harmonics, and you will want to start on this journey.
Oh,
Who knows?
who knows where that will lead? I'll let you know on my you can sing back up on my next album. Wonderful. Well, this has been enlightening, super, super enlightening. Is there anything else that we've missed or that you would like to touch on before we wrap this up?
Oh, well, I think the most important is to be benevolent and want to make a positive impact into the world. And remember, you can do so just by giving a smile. So that's where I will go for today.
Wonderful. And these resources that we spoke about are on AnnaCley.com. Also, your recordings are available there as well. And then I think you also have a link to VOCALISE on your website too, right?
That's right. I didn't talk about that. So I founded a charity to help the children and young adults recover from traumatic experiences. I founded it because I have a different approach, a unique approach. And the two projects I'm working on are a musical tale that's based on the story I envisioned 6 years ago. It's now going to be a book, The Journey of the Heart. I'm looking for a publisher. But with the charity, what I want is to have music on it. So we use the power of music, the power of storytelling, imagination, and also there are some hypnotic elements to instill hope and courage into children who were impacted by trauma. And the other project that I have is to do workshops to help young adults and adolescents who had physical abuse re-embody their body. The problem with trauma is that people keep repeating the pattern. And if someone has been abused in the past, then they're going to put themselves in this situation. It's unconscious. So how do we break the pattern? That was really my question. And there are a lot of things that can be done, but with my charity, I wanted to introduce new ways, and like the work we can do with the posture, breathing, voice, like this type of workshop or what you would find in the e-course. I want to do those workshops for those who had trauma, because really quickly you can change a lot. Just changing the way you use your body, and that's just so important. So that's it. That's what I'm doing. My goal would be to train other people so we can do a lot of workshops throughout the United States. That's my dream. And with the musical tale also, that we could be able to give it to as many places as possible. It can be a hospital because, of course, the disease is a trauma, or an accident or something like this, orphanages, organization where they target sexual abuse, etc. Like any type of trauma we want to help with. That's so there's that. So and for my music, well, my new album got out last month on July 10th, Opera en Code. And you can listen to it everywhere. Pandora, Deezer, Apple Music, Spotify. So, yeah.
And I will just, I will give this testament. If you have not heard AnnaCley's music, it is just stunning. So I encourage you to go seek that out as well. Anna, it has been such a great pleasure. Thank you for taking us on this little journey and sharing your tidbits and insight to the art of charismatic leadership.
Thank you so much.
Be sure to check the show notes for links mentioned in this episode and join us in the Living the Good Life Facebook community for previews of each episode, the opportunity to pose questions directly to our guests, bonus content, and a community of people committed to living their best life and sharing the journey. Thanks for listening. Let us know what value you received from this episode and what you'd like us to explore in the future in the comments. And please take a moment to drop us a like or some stars. I'm Kimberly Henry. Let's get out there and live the good life.